post on social media and check that it's actually working. Okay. Okay. So then, let's have a chat about what's going on. Okay, so as always, during the stream, I'm going to do a roundup of things that people have been working on. I'll also go over what I'm working on at the time, and we'll discuss. There's some things I want to discuss revolving around these victory conditions that are coming into Freeplay, and how they'll work, and there's some decisions I've got to make. We'll see if anyone can help me out with that. Got any opinions on it? Okay, so first of all, what am I doing today? I'm going to be working on these victory conditions. You can see I've plugged a few of them in. I think they're correct. There's a few more that I've got to plug in here. And this score one had me stumped for a while, because the way we have the game currently set up is the score calculations are done at the very end. So I had to rewrite how the score was done and come up with a way of checking the score as you're going, which I think I've successfully done now, but it did take a while. But we'll look into that one, and that'll be the next one I'm doing. These ones that we've got here, so this is biomass. That's I renamed growth to biomass because it sounded more interesting, but basically that's just how many workers and soldiers you've got, and that's now based on the score of those workers and soldiers. So more expensive creatures will give you more towards that victory condition, but also if you destroy tiles, it will reduce that victory condition. Domination, that's a renamed one as well. That one was strength before, but basically that's just an amount of creatures you killed. Amount of enemy creatures you kill, and survival is just survive for X amount of time. After we've got these victory conditions in, I also want to implement difficulty scaling with the victory condition. So basically, as you get closer to the victory condition, difficulty increases. And I'm still not 100% sure how we want to do that, whether we want to give options for that. So like allow the user to choose how much it affects it, because if I just pick a certain value, like say when you're within 20%, it adds 100% to difficulty. When you're in 10%, it adds 200% to difficulty. The issue will be is some people will find that easy, other people will find that hard. We've got to toss it up. It's a toss-up. But we'll discuss that when we get there. So something I wanted to discuss, so anyone who's listening now who might have thoughts on this. Currently, domination, it's a victory condition of how many enemy creatures you kill. And for each enemy creature you kill, the score from that kill adds to the victory condition until you pass a certain threshold. Now the question is, do we want to run that through the because this will be definitely be more effort. Do we want to run that through the difficulty score increase as well? I think in the minute possibly not, because as difficulty increases, more creatures are about anyway. And same with biomass, I guess, because that's based on what you've built. Those, okay, I think I've reached a decision in my head to go with the simple option for now. So I won't make those affected by enemy score. Okay, just score. Score's the only thing that's affected by the actual. What Hunter and Besieged is, Hunter is an amount of Ubers killed, so you've got to play until an amount of Ubers have been killed. So a part of that will be randomness, because Ubers spawn randomly. Besieged is to do with waves, attack waves, so the idea is you've got to survive X amount of attack waves. Okay, so let's get going, I guess. Just something to note is that right now the game is the movement in the game is it's open. It's being operated on at the minute, should we say? So quite a few aspects of the game won't work at the minute, so we can't exactly test everything, although we can test these victory things as we're going. So, but you might notice that the frame rate's really low when we're running the game, and that'll be because a lot of stuff hasn't been sorted yet. Matt's implemented half of the new movement stuff, but a lot of it will be messing things up. You notice the frame rate will be really quite terrible. There's probably loads of stuff coming out in the output log as well. Oh no, there's not. But yeah, there's our objective, but at the minute that hasn't got anything plugged into it. So we'll do that next. I'm assuming we're set up on score mode. Let's have a look. If you got any questions, people, don't hesitate to fire away. Right. Okay, so what I actually think's going on. Hang on. Let me just check it's not doing none, because if it's none, something's gone wrong. My guess is that this is set up wrong, and I'm going to have to redo a setup because I changed some of those victory conditions. Yeah, it looks to me like, yeah, it's not actually anything. Okay. No, nothing to worry about there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us back to the main menu, and we're going to set up a new free play game based on this stuff, based on the score victory condition. I don't care about any of the other setup. I just care about the score victory condition. I'm gonna need to delete some of these free play games soon. Hi, good to have you with us, Just As. VV Just As. Let me know if the audio quality is alright, guys. There's possibly something I can do. It's coming along alright. At the minute, we're doing a lot of optimizations. So the actual... Well, Matt and Liam are doing the optimizations. I'm working on Freeplay at the minute. So the optimizations are indeed slowing things down. So but hopefully by the time they've ended, we should have significantly improved frame rates on the game. Could be a little louder. Okay, cool. Let's see what I can do. Let's see what I can do. But my voice, you mean? I can up my voice a bit. To that point. Is that good enough? Good. Okay, so right, I'm gonna, whilst that's loading, I'm gonna have a look at the source control and talk about some of the things that have come in since last week. Normally I stream on Thursday, but yesterday I was working on it was the score system, but it was going so badly that I didn't want to stream it because it was I was bashing my head against a wall pretty much with it. But I managed to get it done in the end. At least I think I did. It hasn't been properly tested yet. Okay, so I'm just going to pick an arbitrary point. Actually, when was last Thursday? I think the last time I streamed was last Thursday, which is the 27th. So anything after the 27th. Right, so I finished the UI menu stuff, so all the string sharing and that works now. So Matt, has been working on the movement update. He said in this commit, he said expect strangeness. So yeah. Okay, so there the score's coming up there. Okay, so before I carry on, let's go back into the dunes level. What else did he say? He's fixing bugs with what he's doing with the movement code. Liam was changing something to be more efficient. He was changing the way that they're called auras work, so they're actually now tile based rather than, but he's also making use of that with other things as well. So he's kind of combining multiple systems into one. So whereas multiple things needed to check in an area, now it's just one check and it passes the information around. Hopefully that'll speed things up. With the new movement code, we're having to fix various things that were done automatically in the previous movement code. Stuff like the tile that the ant's standing on. The ant now needs to manually check the tile. because whereas before it used the floor that it was standing on kind of to figure out gravity, and that with gravity not being a part of our current system, it's actually manually having to check, but it's still faster. Still a lot faster. Yeah, there's just various movement checkpoints as Matt's putting the stuff in. Okay, coming back to chat. A new species you will add later on? Yep. Yeah, we're speaking about the next species being added in the newsletter, which, I mean, it should have been out last week, but I think there's been a few things that needed to be changed with it. So Mike should get the newsletter out soon. I would expect it over the weekend, probably. But it's going to have quite a lot of information in, because I think the last one we put out was April. So this one's going to be quite a beefy newsletter. But we also talk about, he'll mention new creatures that have been teased on stream and the optimizations that are going on and various other stuff. Oh, Queen disappears there. Okay, so we should be in the score branch now. Score, yeah. So with the scores, this. So this calculates the current score. We need to, that can be removed now. This needs space of its own. But it's going to need something like this. See, that one was a bit different because that's a countdown timer to victory rather than any normal thing, but this one's more like what we expect. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. Just because the amount of times that this is coming out is ridiculous. It's making things difficult to see. I think that's all of them. Okay, also there appears to be something similar with the game state. I'm sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup because this function's getting stupid. So what's game state connected to? Okay, that's all of that. Cool. Finally, let's clean up this colony ID thing. Okay, that looks good. Okay, it's a little bit neater now. Okay, so the score is there. That's probably fine. Let's have a look at that. Let's see what that does. I've also got it once I've actually got the text appearing in the top left. I've actually got to then trigger the victory, which will be the next step. So that should show the objective. That doesn't seem right to me. Maybe it is. I'm not sure if you get score for the queen tiles. Or maybe you used to, but I haven't put it back in. I'm not sure how much of the game will actually work at the minute with the movement code being redone. Let's give it a go, see what happens. I'd be interested to see if the score actually updates. Well, it's looking like the movement code's getting there. It's not horrendously broken or anything. Oh, there's some muck-ups there. Right. I would have suspected that putting seeds down would have increased the score. Apparently it's not. Let's see if construction increases the score. I haven't got enough seeds. Bring me the seeds. Okay, let's see if construction increases the score. See, the score is increasing, but it's not increasing at the rate I'd expect it to. Like, I think these should increase the score by the amount that you... That's not true, actually. It should increase it more than that. It's increasing it by 1. It should definitely be more than that. We need to investigate. Okay, so the score calculation's done here. It's actually done in the C++, yeah. So this is the Freeplay multipliers. They seem to be triggering all right. And what are the ones that aren't triggering? Nothing down here is triggering. So yeah, I haven't got attack waves on. I haven't got fog of war. I haven't got disabled enemy fighting, and the map option isn't on. So yeah, that's correct. Final multipliers. I haven't got creative mode on, and I haven't got disabled upkeep on. Okay. So I think I'm going to have to take a peek at the C++. Let me put a breakpoint in and see what we get. Yeah, it's returning 14 from calculated final score. If we take a look at that, resources collected score is 118. Construction and upgrade score is 180. Final multiplier is true. I think that's wrong. Yeah, that shouldn't be final multiplier. Okay, for a start, that's incorrect. The way final multiplier works is it's a multiplier applied to the final overall score. So once all the other multipliers have applied, it then takes the final score and multiplies that in. So basically that would be halving the score when it's actually meant to increase the score by 50%. So that's one thing that's wrong, although I don't think that will be the main worry. These two should be final multipliers, but the rest shouldn't. Okay. So let's run that again and see what difference that makes. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense now, I think. That doesn't, however. Let me just double check that. So I've got no combat score, no resources score, but construction score is 140. I believe that's because the 7 worker tiles and there's 7 worker tiles and they cost 20 each. So I should have a score coming back of 140. And for some reason, it's coming back as 83. So I need to have a look in the calculated score thing. Right, so I'm going to have to look at the C++ side of things. Okay. So here's where the score is actually calculated. Let's add a breakpoint in and view what happens. Okay, so this array of full scores comes in. Let's begin. Okay, so do these look right? Yeah, 0, 0, 140. These are multipliers. So they all look right. They've come in correctly. So this our first one is combat score. It's not a final multiplier, so it should skip over that. So 0 is being added there. Okay, so just having a quick look. So temp score is still 0. What was the value again? Was it 84 or something like that? We'll see. This next one should add nothing to it as well. So that should still be 0. Multiplier is still 0. Final multiplier is empty. Okay, moving on. Now this, however, should add to it. So as soon as I press next, temp score should become 140. Brilliant. That's exactly what I was expecting. The multiplier is also 0, so that shouldn't affect anything. Okay, so I see what the problem is. Okay. So to explain this, temp total multiplier is being set to 0 at the beginning. And then basically at the end, temp total multiplier is just multiplied into temp score. Now that would be fine, only we need 0 is not the initial value you want it to be. Basically, if there's no change to multipliers, you want temp total multiplier to be 1. So the only thing we need to do here is default temp total multiplier to 1. So let me just check that out. Doing that should give me should mean this, my score's coming back correct. Okay, so I'm gonna compile that now. It'll do something called a hot reload, which should compile the C++ code on the fly. Hopefully it won't take too long. Just give it a minute. Right, whilst we're doing that, let's have something else I wanted to discuss in Freeplay. These victory conditions are going to act like I guess a target for people. And with the string sharing as well, the idea is that you'll be able to set up scenarios on certain maps and kind of share them with people to give each other challenges. The score one should be an interesting one. I think the score one is possibly the one that's going to be most used. And the idea is that you turn on modifiers to affect the score. So maybe you've got Fog of War on, which massively increases the score in order to give you a better chance of hitting the high score. What other things massively increase the score? Turning enemy creature fighting off, so basically the enemy creatures don't kill each other on the surface. That's another big score increaser. I'm hoping we see some stuff in the forums about community scenarios and that sort of thing. There's lots of different options with it, but hopefully it's simple enough for people to figure it out and come up with some interesting scenarios. Still compiling, so it's going to take a little while. I think the first time you compile, you do a hot reload, it takes a little while, but after that it's a bit quicker. We've had lovely weather here in the UK at the minute. I think all of Europe's had really hot weather. UK's been slightly less hot than most of Europe. Like France was getting something like had a day at 44 degrees that it registered, like the hottest it had ever been. It's insane. I can't imagine what 44 degrees feels like. 30 degrees to me feels sweltering. And I'm uncomfortable walking around in 30 degrees. 44 degrees. You basically must live in air-conditioned areas or just vegetate. Not do anything, save your energy. Still, the Steam Summer Sale thing. So this year, this Steam had the whole they had the whole summer sale thing, but they're doing like that race thing where you get a game on your wish list. It's an interesting one, and it caused issues because basically people were removing cheaper games from their wish list, so the game that they could potentially win was the only one left on their wish list. But Steam didn't indicate how it works well enough, because basically you didn't have to remove stuff from your wish list. You could reorder your wish list and just put the item that you wanted at the top, and that's the game you got. But in the description of the race thing, it was a little bit ambiguous. So I think people were just being safe and removing stuff from the wish list. And it's pretty bad for an indie to have their game removed from wish lists, like en masse. I think if a game on your wish list is on sale for more than 20%, you get notified. So lots of indies depend on this wish list for their sales, like for when they go on sale. So people will take a look at their everyone with it on their sale gets a notification when the summer sale hits and that. So you can kind of rely on receiving an amount of income when you do put the game on sale, because it's on people's wish lists. So it is pretty bad. But I think Steam quickly reacted to it, so it's not too bad. It wasn't so bad for Empires. We did see a few hundred wishlist removals, but nothing that's gonna ruin us or anything like that. I think some others had it worse. Maybe like the really cheap games, the games like £1, £2, received it worst. But the other thing in the Steam Summer Sale, which is actually the positive one, was that they were incentivizing people leaving reviews for games. So you get points for leaving a review for a game. And what that's caused is it's caused a massive jump in reviews coming up. And our recent reviews have gone to overwhelmingly positive, which was a nice step. It's very difficult to get to that overwhelmingly positive mark. I think it'd be incredibly difficult for us to get it overall now, because I mean we're still high. We still got a very high rating on Steam, but the ratio it's something like 92% positive. But because of the downtime we've got in between the updates, people do start to leave negative reviews. And to get us back up to overwhelmingly positive, we'd need, like, I think 3 times the amount of reviews we currently have being positive. Which is just not conceivable. But it's nice that in the recent reviews we're down as overwhelmingly positive. Maybe when we release the game in full, at that point, because that should cause an influx of reviews to happen. Maybe at that point we'll stand a chance of getting there. I don't know. This is taking ages to compile. Much longer than I thought it'd take. Not really much you can do whilst it's compiling either. I suppose I can do some bits and bobs. Let's have a look at the next thing down on the list then. Okay, so the next one is Hunter. Now, Hunter's to do with the amount of Ubers you've killed. I need to think about this one. I don't think that information's actually stored anywhere yet. And what's the bottom one? Besieged. Now that information is stored somewhere. So Hunter's going to be a tricky one to do. I'm going to have to implement like a saved variable. I could use there's a generic set of variables that are saved, like an array of them. I could use that to do it. Yeah. It's either that or I build it in. Properly to some sort of system. Right, on the player's data, which is saved, there's things like the score for how many creatures you kill. I could add just add a variable there for number of Ubers killed. So let's look at the besieged, because that one shouldn't be too bad. I think there's just a wave number. Let me just see where that's used. Oh, it's great. It's all over the place. Right, so this is spawning the waves. These are the set waves. The final wave's ridiculous, by the way, if you've ever looked at it. I don't think anyone ever gets to this wave, but if you get to wave 50, you get 10 Uber Beach Wolf spiders, 10 Uber Tiger Beetles, 10 Uber Devil's Coach Horse, and 10 Uber Hermit Crabs. Basically, that wave... Oh, it looks like it's finished compiling. That wave is essentially set up to just kill anyone who's got to it. If you beat wave 50, you've won the game. Maybe one day when we introduce some new species, there'll be better ways of dealing with the Ubers. As it stands, they're like ridiculous. I mean, wave... What's this? Wave 45 has 25 Uber Beach Wolf spiders. That's ridiculous. 15 Uber Devil's Coach Horse there. 10, yeah. So really, wave 30 onwards is ridiculous. Wave 25 can be done, I think. So that's 4 Ubers. There's 3 Ubers, the one before that. 2, then 1. Right, okay, so anyway, the thing compiled, so let's have a look at it. Now, what I'm expecting is to get 140. 140 is the score back now. Okay, that failed. Oh no, hang on. No, that is right. Yeah, because the multipliers are now working properly. So essentially that should be 140. I can cut 224. We can double check that calculation. If that's working, I'm going to assume it's working for now. But yeah, the calculation, it's these, I believe. So I'm going to have to get a freeze frame of this so I know what those values are. They're being pulled out of C++. So yeah, these are the multipliers that are active. Let's just look at it here. Okay, so it should be a 60% multiplier. So we're talking 140 times 1.6. Yep, 224. We got the right value. Okay, so let's do besieged. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do about Uber. We'll have to think about that one. We need somewhere to save the Ubers that have been killed. It should be very similar to this. So that's surviving a number of waves. So there's going to be a bit of an issue here. There shouldn't actually be an issue. Because yeah, there is actually a way of detecting when the full wave's been killed. So essentially, when that is at its final point, and the current wave you're on is dead, then you achieve victory. But we'll actually worry about checking the victory conditions in a moment. That's the next step, really. Check whether you've completed them. Hello there, Dat boy I thought. Dat boy I thought. Dat boy I thought. He thought? Something like that. Okay, so we've got a choice here. We can either move on to... I can either try and do this hunter thing, which I think might be a bit slow. I'm not entirely sure how I want to approach this yet. The issue is... I might put a fan on my feet. The issue is that the issue is that we need to decide where to store this value. Now, the number of Uber creatures killed is only ever going to be useful in Freeplay. So you could store it on something that's Freeplay based, maybe even the Freeplay director. However, it needs to restore as well, so it needs to be saved and loaded. Alternatively, we could literally just shove it into I think that's fine. I think shoving it into the saved variables is absolutely peachy. Which I believe is on game state. Let's do that. So there's save bools and save floats, so I'll use a float to do it. Okay, so that's essentially how we manage that one. However, where we put that is the next question. We need to detect when an Uber's killed. So, I wonder if in the Freeplay directory we look for when a creature's killed. Let's have a look. Doesn't look like it. I wonder if an Uber even knows that it's an Uber. My guess is it probably doesn't. We do need to go back over the Uber stuff soon as well, because we added in the new Uber creatures, but we never actually did their stats or anything like that. We just added them in as placeholders. So 4 new Ubers there. Let's have a quick look at them. See if there's any mention of Uber in here. No, it doesn't look like it. Thinking of adding a bool to this swarm to the swarm creature stats, which is just is Uber. It might not be a bad call. And then basically, when a creature that is an Uber dies, it just it adds 1 to the Uber death count itself. There's another issue here in the back of my head, in that if Ubers get killed by other enemies rather than your colony, it shouldn't count. Else the strategy would be to hide underground until Ubers have been slaughtered, rather than go out hunting for them yourself. But you could probably win just by leaving the game going overnight. Not that that's much fun. See, I'm pretty sure Liam has something in place for this. Can't remember why though. Let's have a look at creatures anyway. Let's go have a look at the C++ code for creatures. Probably our most complicated class in the game. Right, I'm going to look at the moment it dies. And we'll see about the creature announcing its death. Something else I've got to remember is loading and saving. So a creature is loaded and saved and loaded in Freeplay. It's still got to count as an Uber. So I can't just do something on its spawn. It has to be on its loaded and saving as well. All the death code happens in take damage. So here it is. If health is less than 0, this is all the stuff that happens when a creature dies. I want to look at where the last hit came from. I think that's actually been done. I think temp damaging creature is taken from. Maybe it's not. So that's adding to the score. However, it's not. It's not giving any indication of which creature's dying. It's just literally a colony ID and a point value. Oh, hang on. This is probably what I'm looking for. Okay, so there's something called kill creature notification in game state that can see the creature name. Okay, so there is something we can do here with this. So basically we can look for the names of the Uber creatures because they've all got individual names, things like Uber something, Uber. So that's one way of doing it. It's not a bad call actually. Let's have a look. So what does that actually do? It broadcasts this thing called kill creature. Okay. Let's have a look for it, shall we? Looks like there is something in place that allows us to do this. Okay, so here I'm listening out for Ubers being killed. Although this is something I'm going to have to keep up to date. Icy whip spiders running to the queen. They all want to bite her. It's really quite obscene. What a lovely rhyme. Yeah, Uber whip spider is one of the... Okay, let's not do that. I think I can add a switch and just add some names in. So, let's get the names right. So, it's just literally Uber Hermit Crab, that one. Uber Hermit Crab. I'm just going to open all these up. So, Uber Beach Tiger Beetle. Oh, don't do that. Don't cut anything. Just copy it. Beach Wolf Spider. Uber DCH Adult. So that's the current 4. I may as well add the next 4 in as well. Oh, yeah. Of course, that's the scientist, isn't it? Right, see you later. Thanks for joining. Right, okay, so 4 more. So the Uber Jumping Spider, which I'm looking forward to working on, actually. That's going to be a fun one. I think I'm going to give it like an AoE when it lands, but I might need to come up with some new methods of doing that. The jumps actually need to be reworked. That's part of something that's going to change with the movement code. I wonder if projectiles will need reworking as well. They might do. Uber Praying Mantis. Uber Spiny Devil. Uber Whip Spiderling. Right, Sir Spine. Good to have you with us. Right. Okay, essentially this listening out for the creatures dying is only something I need to do when when this victory condition's on. You're a solo dev? No, there's 3 devs in the company. 3 devs and 1 community manager. I wouldn't have been able to make this game solo. It's quite an epic game, really. But it is still a small team. I do actually really like the small team development stuff. There's only a small group of people. There's enough people to bounce ideas off that you're not going to do something stupid. But there's not so many people that that it gets too noisy. I believe that should return 0 if it's not been saved yet. So that should be fine. So if it's not equal to 1, that's the thing that updates the objective. But we also, if it is equal to hunter, then we're going to listen for these uber creatures being killed. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to run a quick test on this as well to make sure it actually works. So I'll build the test in a second. So that's it, checking that that's been killed. And then in the update objective, okay, yeah, sorry, can't do that. Yeah, I might actually do this somewhere else. I might go through and look for all of these casts to game state and switch them for just one that sets at the beginning. Oh, hang on. For a while now, it looks like I've had the wrong thing up on the screen. Wonder how long that's been up for. Been a while since I did that. Okay. So yeah, this is us listening for the Uber creatures dying. But I'm switching stuff around now. I'm going to instead use a central game state. As you can see, it's used a few times. So I can basically just remove these calls to game state. Okay, so I need to store this somewhere. This seems like a sensible place to do it. In fact, I'm going to do it even sooner. I'm going to make it like the first thing that happens. Begin play here. So literally it starts and we save a reference to game state. This will be a very minor saving of processing. Very, very minor. But it also neatens stuff up a little bit, I think. Okay. Okay, so there's now only one call to get game state. Cool. Now we'll see if that causes a problem. It might do. There's sometimes basically issues where begin play hasn't run yet and it's running other things on it, but we'll see. Do I really have to get that game? Which game? This game. Okay. So then, we're going to run a test now. So I'm going to save things. Because I don't actually want to save anything in the test. Actually, before I do that, there is a minor thing I've got to do. It's in update objective here. It's sort of minor. Yeah, this game. Yes, get this game. Purchase our game. Okay, so Uber's killed. Okay, so theoretically that should work. Just whilst I'm testing, I'm going to plug score into Hunter just to see. Of course, it's got 60,000 as the target because that comes from the setup. But ignore that for now. We're not worried about the target. We want to actually see if it works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something into the level blueprint where I press a button and it kills an Uber. At the minute, yeah, it shouldn't matter who kills it. We need to build that in later. Yeah, it's not. We're not. We made a decision a while ago not to go onto sale until we've left early access. After we leave early access, when we do go into full release, there'll be a period of time where it's full price. Then we'll start doing sales, I think. But it could be a while yet, just to warn you. We've still got quite a bit to add to the game. Spawn. No, Uber. Uber Beach Tiger Beetle, that's fine. Doesn't matter where it spawns. I don't want it on level begin play actually. I'll do it when I hit the right bracket. Right, let's see what that does. Okay, so 0, press it. It didn't seem to update. Did that even spawn one? It looks like it's definitely dead. Yeah, it's dead, alright. It's not really triggering the... I know why. Yeah, okay. I need to do more to alter my test. Basically, we weren't listening for it unless the victory condition is hunter, but the victory conditions currently actually score because of the way I've done this. So it won't actually be listening for it. Yeah, there we go. Uber's killed 1. Uber's killed 2. Cool. Okay, so let's change this back to hunter and change update objective. Plug score back into score. Right, I think they're all done now. Whatever I do, don't save the dunes level because I don't want the level for every time someone presses right bracket for them to get an Uber spawn and get killed immediately. No, Ubers are mega versions of enemy creatures. So that was a beach tiger beetle that was spawning. It was like a mega version of it. So the idea is that you kill these mega versions of the creatures and you got to kill an amount of them to win the game. Okay. So next, right, I'm just going to get a drink. I'll be back in a minute. But the next thing I'm working on is likely to be checking whether these victory conditions are not whether they're triggering, but implementing victory. So the actual victory that that is caused by this. I believe we've got some voice lines as well for the victory conditions. We got them recorded, but they haven't been used yet. So we'll have to look into that as well. But yeah, actually doing the check for victory. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Right, where were we? Right, yes, victory. Victory! Okay, so I think the rules here are going to be the same no matter what victory condition you've picked. But the victory check should probably happen immediately after the update. So if colony size is greater than the target size, the other thing I need to think about here is the difficulty increase. So there's a victory point, but there's also a difficulty increase, which will be based on how close you are to the victory. I'm not quite sure how the maths there is going to work yet. However, so instead of doing this, I might do a percentage complete. I might just plonk it into a variable. So it'll just be a float, and 1 will be victory, 0 will be not started yet. Instead of this, it's going to be your current colony size divided by the objective target. Okay, so and what's next? So that was biomass. This next one's domination. So this is on enemies killed. Again, this is divided. Okay, what's next? Okay, so this one's going to be a little more complicated than that. No, it shouldn't be actually. Time since start divided by objective time. I think that should be fine. So this is score and target score. should be fine there. Does this function not have a return point? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, essentially what we'll do here then is after it's done this, so after it's set this percentage, it will do a victory check. So what's this one? This is Uberschkeld. It's exactly the same as this. What's the final one? Wave number. Yeah, same. So at least this bit's been simple. One sec. Just trying to get get things right. So it's going to update the objectives there, then it's going to do the victory check. So victory check's dead simple. So if victory percent's more than 1, victory action. I should also complete objective as well. Which I believe... should just be able to grab this. The objective's called victory objective. How imaginative of me. Okay, so there's also something else I want to put in, because at the minute it will try and do victory constantly. So I either need to put in a bool just to say we've done victory, we don't need to do it anymore. Which might be the simplest way of doing it. Not sure what triggers the defeat. Oh. How would we called it on the other one? Something like victory happened, victory applied, victory. Just call it victory applied, doesn't really matter what it's called. It's literally just something to stop it repeatedly trying to apply the victory. So if victory percent is over that and victory applied, and the victory's not already been applied, then we can run the victory. Yeah, I think Blueprints makes development look deceptively easy, but there's a lot of things going on at once here. By this point, the game has got so complicated. And our game doesn't just use Blueprints. As you saw before, it uses a mixture of Blueprints and C++. It's not always easier to use Blueprints. Often C++ is the easier way to go, and C++ is definitely more efficient. But for things like this, that I can just do quickly, it's much easier to do in Blueprints. Anyway, thanks for joining me. See you later. So it's fine. Right, what time is it? So I think we're gonna stream for another 20 minutes, so until past, and then I'll call it a day there. So we'll see where we'll see where we get at that point. But the minute doing the victory action, I need to actually take a look at some of the other levels and see how they perform the victory action. I believe we should have a audio in here. What does Liam call it? Liam called it conductor. Yeah, I think it's just in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Audio conductor. Looks like I need to do a valid check on it. I'm going to go check some of the other levels to see how they do victory. I can't quite remember. Let's have a look at the first level in the game, for instance. Hey, you're right, Jazz. Nice to have you. Right, Jazz. Nice to have you back. Yeah, things are alright. We're currently working on the victory conditions in Freeplay. Whilst I'm doing that, the others are doing some massive overhauls of various game components to get better performance out of them. So theoretically, once that's done, larger army sizes should be more viable, as should running the game on lower end hardware. Do I have ants? Well, I need to get some donuts, I think, and spill them all over the floor, because that's how you get ants. But no, no, I don't keep ants. It's not really practical for me to keep a pet at the moment. Keep a pet species. One day maybe. There's a big ant colony out in my front on the patio at the minute. It's coming up through the bricks, and there was just one hole to start with, and now there's like 3. I need to keep an eye on it to make sure they don't start making their way into my kitchen. It might just be a Lasius Niger one. Mike was talking about keeping ants at one point. I don't think he ever managed to catch a queen though. Yeah, they're a very basic species of ant. I think my wife would get worried about them. Just need to keep an eye on them to make sure they don't form a trail into our kitchen. I'll keep an eye on the kitchen to make sure no pheromone markers go down. If I see like coloured smoke rising from anywhere, I'll quickly rub it out. Right, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was taking a look at New Home to see how the victory action worked. Okay, so on the left, victory and defeat. Here we are. So victory action here. So it's called ending happened apparently. It first of all gets the audio conductor and announces victory. It then plans in 2 seconds time to run this function called victory screen display. Okay, that seems like a reasonable approach, so I'll copy it into the Freeplay. Into the Freeplay version. We've already checked that elsewhere, so I don't need to worry about that. The audio conductor's here. I'm going to do a valid check on it. If it's valid, right, I'm not actually sure what the narration ID needs to be in this. What I'll do is I'll ask Liam, because we can. There is a set of victory. Okay, 1 second, guys. I've got to push some changes I've done because I've actually broke something earlier today. Yesterday, sorry. Okay, hang on. Closest you have got going to keeping ants. So how close would you say you guys are with with working leaf cutters and Freeplay? They are very close. I think the actual leaf cutter stuff is pretty much in place now. I'm just working on the other Freeplay stuff. I'll show you in a second. There's probably going to be stuff broken with them. Insect persons. It's a big load of speech in there. Right, Liam's telling me how to do the audio stuff. However, it looks a bit. I'll probably do it off stream because it's going to require me to hunt through files and things. So let's not worry about that for now. So I need to set up a function called victory screen display by the look of it. And then how's that handled in level 1? Well, that looks nice and simple. I think that's fine. Guess we'll see. Okay, I'm going to run a test with that now. We'll see what happens. Might go horribly wrong. But that's fine too. Right, after I've run this test, I'm going to open leaf cutters in Freeplay. We'll have a quick test of that to remind myself where we got with that. Pretty sure that's functioning, like to an extent where it hasn't been tested, you know. So take that with a pinch of salt. Hasn't been properly tested. I think we're going to run an open beta for the Freeplay, but once Matt's got his optimizations in place, because that'd be a good chance to test Matt's optimizations as well. Okay, hang on, I should open the level blueprint and create something which does the victory action. We'll see what this does. Might just go horribly wrong. Well, that certainly wasn't the correct narration, and there's clearly no graphics for it yet. And the victory score screen is clearly not working. Oh, that's the right number though. I think there just isn't an animation been put in place for the victory. Basically, I need to just put the same victory animation as defeat animation, because all it is was zooming around the queen. So it may as well be the same as the defeat animation. But as a whole, that actually worked pretty well. Although I think, I don't know. See, if you continue playing, you'd still be able to save the game. When you reloaded, if you won at the minute, what would happen is you'd immediately win. If you save after victory. Maybe what I should have is, if you save after victory, it saves whether the victory is played or not, and if victory has played, it never shows you the victory again. I don't know. These are things that need to be decided. Right, let's have a quick look at the leaf cutters then. Oh, error. That actually look like multiple errors. This sounds like it's chosen sequence. Yeah, that's the victory sequence. So that's the missing. That's all to do with the missing victory sequences. In fact, I think these are down on the player pawns. Death sequence there. It's in the setup section. Should be somewhere around here. I'm going to search for it. There are victory sequence. Freeplay 0, Freeplay 0, Freeplay 1, Freeplay 1. I'm editing stuff on the dunes. Okay, I'm not going to do this yet, because I've already changed something on the dunes. I did in the cheat, and I don't want to save that. So I will come back to that. But it's okay. I know what's wrong. Right, let's activate a leaf cutters in Freeplay and see where we get. I don't expect this will work very well because the movement systems in the game are currently dissected. Particularly things like climbing plants, that's probably completely broken. Oh. Well, that's ugly. What's happened there? Oh, it does this when I hot reload. That'll be fine when it's when I've not done a hot reload. I don't know why it does that when I hot reload. Colony name. I need to move that. Okay, I should write some of these things down. So, start warning. On Freeplay setup. He's repositioning. There's something else I needed to do. Oh yeah. Victory sequences. And Freeplay levels. So with the leaf cutters, you start with 100 food. You've also got extra space dug out because your queen's massive. There's the minims there. The frame rate drop at the minute is because of Matt's movement code still being in the works, so don't worry about that at the moment. In the end, that will give us a better frame rate rather than the worst one. There should always be leaves next to your nest entrance. That's taking a while. Oh, no, worked. Okay, so yeah, we can see there's some leaves on the map. Like I say, they should always start with some next to your nest entrance. Let's see if climbing's still working. I think we're going to have fish and chips for dinner tonight. Nope, climbing's broken by the looks of things. Oh no, I haven't got a leaf store. No. No. Stupid John. Hello, LSG Pain. You're a bit late, I'm afraid. We're the stream's about to end once I've checked a few things with the... Oh, look at that. Lovely. You can see the new movement carried bugs kicking in here. Here's something trying to walk up a ramp. Here's something that's face planted. Should we have a look at some other things? Oh, these look alright. Looks to me like ramps are completely broken at the minute. Are they damaging each other? Yeah, it looks like they are. Anyway. Oh, looks like plank climbing's still working. Basically, when you activate leaf cutters in Freeplay, it turns on this kind of hidden landmark in the background, which causes these the leaf clumps to spawn. Now, I haven't tuned the amount of leaf clumps that spawn yet. That's coming later. Maybe more or less. I don't really know. The only thing I've made sure is that there's always one right next to your nest entrance. But yeah, looks like we're getting there. And on that note, I think we'll end the stream there. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys and gals. Look for me next week, latter half of next week as usual. I usually stream on Thursday, but this week I was doing such a horrific task on Thursday that I didn't want to stream it. So instead I've streamed on Friday once we got past the difficult bit. We have work to do by the looks of things. I might share the end of the stream to Matt. Might give him some new things to work on. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, didn't even know you were here. Tony Bjorn. Oh yeah, you've been joining in. Of course. Right, thanks. Yeah, thanks for everything. I will see you soon.